Hey guys.
Oh my God, you're so loud. You were so loud. Jesus. I didn't know it was that loud. Anyways, hello everyone. Welcome to an episode of The Reckless Nerd. I am Frank
What's
Martinez
up?
as always. I'm here with Stephanie Michelle. Say hello.
Hey.
Hey.
So how are you doing
Sorry,
today?
I'm trying to turn this down because it's oh my God, it's so loud. I'm doing great. How are
That's
you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing good. There's a lot of stuff on the news tonight for us. I
Okay.
know we were supposed to be over at a shop called Quest in Redlands. Of course,
Uh-huh.
things happened. We are not. Still wishing we were there because there was some stuff I need to start Christmas shopping.
Yeah, unfortunately we didn't get a chance to go this week. But that's things happen and we just got to move forward. So we'll definitely be back. Don't get us wrong. A shop called Quest is still a shop close, near and dear to our hearts, and we love them.
Oh,
And we're hopefully going to do a show with them pretty soon. But for now, we're going to keep doing our podcast like regular. So if this is your first time checking us out, thank you guys for doing so. But we're going to jump into some nerd news.
absolutely. So the very first thing that we're going to be talking about today is J.K. Rowling's new book. It's going to be actually her first children's book in 13 years, but she has crowdsourced the art. So most of the art is going to be from kids.
I'm sorry.
Frank, are you there? This is going well already. Frank, are you there? I can see you moving now. Oh, lost Frank. So it is just me for right now. Let's see if we can get him back in here. Let me see. Oh no. Okay, so Rob can hear me. 1 second. Frank does not believe me that my stuff is not working the way that I want it to. So I'm just going to do this for real quick and send this to him. It's now the Stephanie Show. Frank left, Rodney. I don't know. Let me see. I mean, I guess I can still keep talking about this until we get Frank back. Let me see. Yeah. No, I didn't do it to him, Rodney. This is great. This is going good. I just muted him for funsies. So now this is weird, and there's several of you watching, so that's comforting. So while we try and get Frank back on, and I'm still working with him to get him back in here, hopefully he comes in soon. Oh, and he's back.
You're so annoying. I can't believe you did that to me. How dare you?
I
How
didn't.
dare you? We have 5 people watching, and I watched all their comments, and they were sad that you did that to me, and I can't believe you did that to me. Like, how dare you? How dare you?
You have no idea how much I want to mute you now. Even though I didn't meet you then, it was just a bad connection. Anywho, so J.K. Rowling's new book, all the art's going to be done by kids. The cover art looks like it's going to be a 11-year-old named Albania Holmes, and she's one of 34 kids that's drawings were selected as part of this competition. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, for
I'm excited.
sure.
Kids book from her.
I'm not. Make
Well, you
more
didn't.
Harry Potter stuff. Huh? Make more Harry Potter stuff. Make more Harry Potter stuff.
I like it when authors create multiple worlds.
I like it when authors finish making the first one. Make one world. Then move on once you have other things in that world.
I think it's crazy to assume that one person's entire life can only be comprised of one project.
Didn't say that. Did not say that. Very different than what I said.
You're saying she can't move on until she's completed this project for
I'm saying she can't move on until she gives me more than one freaking story in the world of Harry Potter.
There's multiple stories. You
no
just
one
don't want to
gives a shit about Fantastic Beasts.
Not just that. There's also the Cursed Child.
Give me Harry Potter Riverdale, and I will be happy.
Oh my gosh, you have the worst taste.
Oh my god! First of all, that show has several seasons. It's on a main network.
No, I know, but assuming that it has to go there for it to be good, I would love.
It doesn't have to go there to be good. It doesn't have to go there to be good. It's a reference. Also, how do you hate Riverdale?
I don't hate Riverdale. I actually like Riverdale.
Apparently you do. You don't want a Harry Potter version of it.
I don't want a Harry Potter version of it.
I would love a Harry Potter version of it.
No.
Yes.
I think that the drama, and maybe in 50 years, like they waited 50 years to bring Archie comics back, I'm okay with it then. I don't want it ruined right now. It is still pure in it at this moment.
Okay, first of all, I'm not saying make it sexy. I'm saying do something different. Do other things in that universe.
Okay. Then they have Fantastic Beasts. They have the Cursed Child. There is probably stuff in the works to go down the history of more Slytherin, and I think that's one of the reasons why they did Fantastic Beasts, is because now it's kind of going into that prequel world. But I just don't want to see everything take place in high school.
It doesn't have to take place in the high school.
I know, but I think
Han Solo movie is such a great example of how things don't have to take place in one area.
But how many years after the original Star Wars did that happen?
That's because George Lucas is a dick.
But there's multiple different worlds going there, but it took a long time to get there.
How many years has Harry Potter been out?
13.
In the first 13 years of Star Wars, they had done a lot. That's all I'm saying. Diversify your bond.
First 13 years of Star Wars, how many movies were made?
I don't know that right now.
First 13 years of Harry Potter, how many movies were made?
Okay, first of all, all right, whatever. All right, agree to disagree, but I'm right.
You always say that like J.K. Rowling hasn't done enough, and I think she's done a lot. She just hasn't met your standards.
People can say that about anything.
I know.
They're disappointed with.
I know, but I'm just saying. I genuinely love how much she's put into it. I do like that it's going to be something that we slowly go into, because I don't know. I can't pull away from it. She created great stories that were great reads that kids still enjoy reading, and did it that way, where it was the book first and then the movies. I appreciate it. I'm excited to see other worlds that she creates. I also like seeing all the drama she causes in the news. So I'm a kind of.
Oh, you like her being transphobic? Yeah, I'm sure that's great.
Not that she's transphobic. I think it's funny because she was also part of that like anti-PC culture author movement.
Okay.
And I thought it was interesting.
I mean, sure.
And I can enjoy watching the drama people cause without agreeing with their opinion.
That's fair.
Okay. All right. Rob said 3.
I
All
saw
right.
that.
Next thing on the news is Pink Panther reboot from the director of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting, right? Like Sonic was such a good um combination of like kind of like people meets 3D character, and it was
I
like
like
nice to see like that like actually work. So I'm really excited to see the same creator do something different. Pink Panther is a great movie
mm,
franchise, uh,
yes.
and we'll see what they do with the Pink Panther, like the actual character, not just like a diamond that it refers to in a story. So I'm excited to see. I was a fan of the Pink Panther cartoon in the late '90s. Very different than the original cartoons that were out. So who knows? Maybe it'll be kind of a mix.
It's okay. So I liked them. I don't think I could tell you anything about them, but I remember enjoying
Uh-huh.
them.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of like it is one of those like very like forgettable. You just know there's a Pink Panther.
Yeah,
Really,
I remember
know there's
liking it.
yeah.
So I don't know. I couldn't like there's movies that I can go back and I can quote
Mhm.
even if I've seen them once. I couldn't
I would
do
like to eat the damn burger. Steve Martin really made that role.
okay. Well, no, I remember Steve Martin and I love Steve Martin in I think everything he does.
Mhm.
But I just yeah, that's not one of those movies that stuck with me.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay.
And Rob is saying the original movie was all live action.
Yes.
Yes. So, I don't know. I'm definitely excited to see because he did do such a good job. Jeff Fowler did such a good job with
Mhm.
Sonic, especially after there was all of the backlash on how Sonic looked.
Well, the original, I mean, it was bad. It was fucking
Yeah, it was bad.
horrible. Like, honestly, like, I'm a huge Sonic fan, and when I saw that, I was like, "Fuck this movie." I was already kind of like, "Fuck this movie" before, um, when they announced it, because just wasn't sure what they were gonna do with it, especially because like the Sonic franchise is like
Mhm.
so far. It's moved so different from what it like originally started out with. So, um, it'll be interesting. Or it was interesting to see them actually like correct and get it like good, you know?
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Next that we have up is our Space Force is actually getting a season 2.
I'm so happy about this because this is the thing is that I think they realize like the potential of the show, and I think Netflix says, you know what, we're gonna move forward because season one was pretty disappointing. It had some funny moments in it, but it wasn't anything just like consistently good. And I felt like Steve Carell's character was very much in the same vein of like Michael from The Office, just a little bit more mature.
Mhm.
I also think they left too much to like wonder about because they introduce like some mystery and they never really solve it like
So
in the first
you
season.
finished the first season?
I finished the first season the day it came out.
See, I watched a couple episodes, but I don't think I finished it.
I think me and you consume media very differently.
Yeah.
I
I
will watch
it
something from start to finish generally, even if it's bad.
see, yeah, once it got bad, I was like, "I have other things I need to do." And
Yeah, I
I
I don't. So that's why like there's no sense of urgency for me to not finish something. Just I
mhm,
also feel like when you're consuming something, you should go from start. Like even music, when a new album comes out, I listen from beginning to end because I want to see what whoever put it out, what they were trying to convey. And so I feel like you do have to listen to it in its entirety. So
mhm,
I am excited to see what they're going to do moving forward. I think there's a lot of
mhm,
potential there. I think Jimmy O Yang is a great addition to the show. They even have some actors on there that I wasn't super familiar with that like I enjoyed.
mhm.
Steve Carell definitely still has a lot to bring.
Oh, yeah.
So it's definitely gonna, you know, be cool to see the changes that they're making, uh,
Uh-huh.
being put in place.
I know, John Malkovich was, I think, my favorite character,
Yeah.
but I love him. But my big issue was it was like, yes, and I completely agree about consuming stuff, especially even in the order when I listen to new CDs, I try to listen to it in the right order or albums and things like that. But if it can't keep my attention, I can't I can't keep putting time into it.
Yeah.
There needed to be something in it that made me want to come back. I got bored with the characters,
Mhm.
um, and which was really hard because of how much I love Steve Carell,
Mhm.
which in for the most part, he's one of my favorites, I think, across the board. And it was just, I think, so flat. And yes, I've heard that that Space Force might not actually be a real branch anymore, as it's getting pointed out in the comics. But I don't know, maybe that's gonna be what they're doing with the show, is kinda talking about now getting disbanded.
Oh, that could be kind of interesting to see like what they're gonna do with that. Um, a
We'll see.
funny little like fact: Jimmy O Yang's father actually plays one of the I believe Chinese scientists, and his dad only got into acting after Jimmy O got into like was somewhat famous, and his dad kind of started getting some roles through him. He had no like
Wow.
ambition to act, but his whole thought on it was, well, if my son can do it, then I for sure can do it. And so his dad has kind of got this like easy street, not because of Jimmy O, just he opens opportunity for him. And
Mhm.
so the dad will go in there and he just crushes his auditions. And so
That's
he
funny.
acting is like the easiest thing in the world. And he's like acting in like way bigger roles now because of it. It's super funny how this kind of just ended up working out for him. But
That's
he did a great like the small parts he does have in Space Force, I thoroughly enjoyed.
yeah. I don't know, I like it.
Yeah.
Can you imagine, okay, if your dad started doing comedy because he's like, "Oh, he does it."
Not my dad. I can imagine. I can see my mom doing it,
Your
but
mom really funny.
um, yeah, I could see like that totally happening. Um, but that's the one thing I've learned about life is like those moments are things that you don't expect to like be big moments often tend to end up being ones. So with
Mhm.
somebody that like I think sees that somebody that they see fail a lot does decent, like they're probably, oh, I can do better. And then I think
Oh,
it's
yeah.
also the attitude that they go into it because I don't think if they get a lot of like breaks and it is kind of like going their way, they'll never have to deal with like the mental anguish that we had to deal just to get to where we've gotten so far, you know?
Oh, well, yeah. That's
So,
true. Um, alright. You ready for the next one? I'm super excited
yeah,
about the next
what's the next
one.
one?
So the next one is the Fresh Prince reunion actually was released
Yeah.
today. It
Mhm.
was filmed, 30 days to the day when the first episode was released. It's kind of interesting. I was reading some of the stuff from it. I'm probably gonna go watch it when we're done recording. I'm way excited for it. I loved the Fresh Prince growing up,
Yeah.
and it's kinda cool that they even have the original Aunt Viv and got to talk about, um, some of the like, clear the air between
Mhm.
there.
Yeah, I think that they definitely see like they get to talk about a lot more things that weren't able to be talked about before. I think it's sad
Mm.
that James Avery isn't around for them to like
I
do it,
know.
but it was cool to see some of the like a lot of the behind the scenes things that were going on and just how people felt about it. I think such an influential show should have that kind of right to go out and talk about
Oh,
things.
yeah.
And it was nice that they did it publicly for us to be able to see and enjoy.
Well, yes, and I think that was one of the big things that they pointed is that the conversation between Will Smith and Daphne Maxwell Reid, or no, that was the second Aunt Viv. The first Aunt Viv was Janet Hubert.
Mhm.
They had a whole conversation and got to talk because there was a lot of things where he even says that he was young and called her difficult to work with. There are rumors behind that she got fired from the show. And so that's kind of a big deal because okay, so were you a first Aunt Viv or second Aunt Viv fan?
Um, it's so hard. I kind of appreciated the first Aunt Viv a little more because I think she was a little bit more like how do I say this like you can tell like when she flips on that switch like she had a feeling of like she did kind of grow up not with money.
Yes.
That's the whole story, right? Is they got into a better place financially to get them there. They weren't born
Mhm.
into it. And so like when she would kind of like there was a couple of times where she's like, "Oh no." She's like going after somebody and you
Yeah.
see like the street come out and you're like, "Oh shit, she's getting down." And I think the other Aunt Viv and she was good. I'm not saying I don't like her, but she definitely, I feel like sometimes when she would try to get like mean, it wouldn't come off as like, I'm somebody who had to grow up having to defend myself, you know?
There was definitely a different edge between them. I know the second Aunt Viv was a little bit more she had maybe a little bit more natural grace, and so she didn't go into that rougher
Yeah,
side as
yeah,
hard. Where the first one, yeah, she definitely had that, like, nouveau riche kind of feel to her where it was like you could see the dual layers.
mhm,
So I completely agree with that assessment. And I think I'm like I said, I'm super excited to go. I've only seen clips of it so far just because it just got released today.
mhm,
Um, but that's definitely something I'm going to be redoing my HBO subscription for.
yeah.
But so that's kind of really cool. The next thing also having to do with Fresh Prince is that there's a reboot that's going to be getting 2 seasons order on Peacock.
That's so interesting. NBC has redone their streaming service so many times,
Yes.
and I just hope this isn't one that like we see a lot of good stuff get on and nobody watches because it's not on. Like HBO did a tremendous job of really staying in the game so much that changing with the times, if you will. I
Yeah.
feel like some of the other services are trying to play catch up now.
Mhm.
They're trying to have to figure out how to get to digital correctly. And NBC has tried for years to like make. They had CISO, Peacock. They had another one before that. I don't even remember what the
Yeah.
name was, but it's like they can't seem to find the right recipe. So I'm hoping that this is the start of it. But
Yeah.
I've heard a few things on Peacock, and I'm not going to download another app that I know isn't going to be good.
I've downloaded Peacock because
Mhm.
they have the second Psych movie.
Okay.
So I have it. I haven't used it that much other than to watch that one movie. So we'll see. I'm excited. This whole thing was shopped after somebody made a fan made a trailer and made it a very like dark and edgy Fresh
Yeah.
Prince of Bel-Air.
Well, I don't
So
think that
I'm
necessarily like was synonymous. Like that happened, but I think they were already in the talks before, like trying to get it to happen.
it had been getting shopped to HBO and Netflix, but Peacock's the one that got it.
Yeah. Oh, I see. I thought you meant the Fresh Prince reunion, not the show going to
No, no,
Peacock.
no, no.
Okay, yes. I didn't realize. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, the show is getting kind of got that trailer, that fan base trailer kind of pushed and this idea like to get it really far, to get it kind of in front of everybody. So I'm I'm definitely gonna be something that I watch. I want to give it a
Yeah, for
shot.
sure.
I'm terrified to watch it because if they ruin my Uncle Phil that I have in my head, like I just don't know.
I guess I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't really compare the two like too much because they're not gonna be the same like by a
Oh, yeah,
lot.
I don't think they can
So
play up to 8,
mm,
so I don't know. I'm excited. I'm excited to see it. We'll see if anybody can fill all the shoes correctly because
yeah.
that cast was just it was so well done.
Yeah,
What do
agreed.
you think? Next on the list. So beginning of the month or beginning of last month, Rick Moranis was attacked in New York. The man that attacked him has been arrested.
Good. Good they got that guy. And they caught him on video and they were able to get him. And you
Yeah.
know what? That's ridiculous that like why would you hurt a treasure like Rick Moranis? Why? Why would you do that? I'm upset that you would attack that man. He's
Well,
the
it's something if it was like just like I don't know if it was like an engaged interaction and there was anything, but it was in the
yeah, it was
video,
like random, right?
he's standing there and a guy just walks up and punches a 63-year-old man in the face.
Yeah, it's fucked up. Maybe he was just really upset at Ghostbusters for like all these years. Or like he like was upset at like Honey I Shrunk the Kids for just like a like a long period of time. And he finally saw Rick Moranis and had his chance. And he was like, this one's for blowing up the kid. And then he punched him in the face.
On that note, you know that they're actually gonna be rebooting Honey, I Shrunk the
Yeah.
Kid.
That's why Rick Moranis was in the streets.
He's he's pushing his Wayne Skaczynski, says I can't say the last name.
Hmm.
Character.
That was a very poor attempt.
It was a very poor attempt. The character from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Wayne Szysinski, and I mess up last names all the time.
I can see that.
Yeah.
It's going to be a continuing thing. That's fine. I'm not going to judge you
No.
openly.
Yeah.
Just silently.
Are you going to rewatch the new Honey, I Shrunk the Kids when it comes out on Disney Plus?
Am I going to rewatch it or am I going to watch it?
Watch it.
Yeah, I'll definitely watch it. I mean, those movies, I grew up watching them. I even watched the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids TV show when it was on Disney Channel. Like all of them. That was a great show.
I used to love going at Disneyland when they had the Honey, I Shrunk the Audience.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for it. That's one of those, what's funny is as many 90s movies as I've shown my kids, I don't think I've shown them those ones yet. So that's going to be happening this week probably.
Yeah, definitely. Should definitely do that.
Which, I mean, I'm kind of up to my head in 90s movies right now because of Mighty Ducks driving my life crazy.
I mean, I don't understand how that could drive your life crazy.
Because my son watches either the first one or the second one every day.
That sounds like a good day to me.
It is. But he also plays every Queen song imaginable.
Again, I don't understand what you're complaining about.
Because I'm trying to consume other stuff too, new stuff.
We live very different lives.
We live very different lives. I don't know. I love it. All right. Up next, are you ready for PS5s?
Always. I'm so ready to talk to the mad shit right now, dude.
Right?
It's crazy.
Especially because PS5 was the one I was leaning towards getting before the
Xbox is also having problems, not just PlayStation 5. Both of them are having consistent issues.
They are. So some of the issues that we're seeing on PlayStations that are getting reported is storage issues, as well as there is a rest mode that is, I guess, causing them to completely to have to reformat.
No, not reformat, but so essentially what's going on is when the Xbox goes into rest mode, which is a mode that basically turning off the PlayStation all the way, it stays kind of on, so you can kind of walk away, come back kind of thing. And it's causing the hard drive to get damaged in a way where it has to repair it, and basically it's not breaking it, but it just some kind of disconnect is happening and it's having to go into a repair mode and fix it, which I've done. If you have a external hard drive on your PlayStation, you know what that's like if you accidentally unplugged it while it's on, trying to bridge the connection back again. It does it, but it is kind of a big deal on a brand new system. You just spent $500 getting the system. You spent another $100 getting extra controller. You spent another extra $100 on the headphones and whatever other accessories you bought. You just spent $1,000 on this thing, including video games. And I would totally be upset if my new system with all my new stuff is not working correctly. And it wasn't anything we didn't anticipate. I mean, we talked about it. Anytime a new system launches, there's always tons of issues.
Oh yeah,
this big of issue, I don't know. I mean, it's reminiscent of the Red Ring of Death almost with Xbox 360s. There's just certain things that happen, and it's unfortunate that we still see that. But I think it's just lack of testing and lack of preparation on their part. And especially when again, and this is the crazy thing about consoles is you're getting an inferior product compared to a computer.
Absolutely.
I can build and not have these issues. So it's just a lot that goes into it. And again, I think year after year, the consoles, really make it harder to stay there. And the crazy part is console still makes up a good percentage of gaming. It's just easier for people to consume. So, it's hard to give it up, but I see how PC is really daunting to people. It's not that complicated, but people like things simple, and I don't know. I've never bought a system at launch. I think I did when I got the PlayStation 2, and you didn't see issues so much like that. And I mean, I get it. It was less moving parts and less complications, but I don't know. It just makes I'm in absolute zero rush to get a PlayStation 5.
So you're going to be starting to head more towards PC gaming, right?
100%. honestly, like the only reason I'm buying a PlayStation 5 is to play Miles Morales or to play things that like are exclusive to PlayStation.
Yeah.
Um,
See,
other than that, most Xbox games do come out on PC. Some of them stay on Xbox as an exclusive just so you have to buy it. But
yeah.
um, the biggest thing that kept me on console was there's no crossplay. You can't be on a computer and play with somebody who's on a console. Now that's not really an issue on a lot of games that I play. I mean, I realistically I play Call of Duty and I play a couple story games a year. So for me, it only makes sense to go on computer where I can get tremendously differences in quality of gaming.
Yeah. See, I started as a PC gamer. Granted, like I had a PlayStation, I had a Super Nintendo at the house, all these other things. So I played games, but
Mhm.
I didn't consider myself a gamer until I started getting into PC games.
Mhm.
And so for me, like I definitely would want to go back that route. But it's like, yeah, I have consoles in the house now just because they are so easy for the kids to use
Mhm.
because a PC is a little scary when you have kids just because of the accessibility to everything that they have.
Yeah.
Um, so for me, like I definitely think like consoles are going to be a huge part because we have the PlayStation, we have an Xbox, we have a Switch, there's a Game Boy somewhere in the house. Like so I know consoles are going to still be a huge part
Mhm.
of my life going forward. I kind of can't wait to be able to introduce the kids to PC games though.
Yeah, for sure.
No, I definitely want to go back and there is a internet cafe in Rancho called NetFrags.
Mhm.
And I've been there, well, before COVID happened, and it was kind of fun going in and playing StarCraft again and Counter-Strike, and I miss that.
You should just download those games and play them.
I know, but I don't know if my computer that I currently have would handle it, and so I have to get a
Your
new
Mac
computer.
might. Your Mac probably would. I mean, I don't know if I would play it on a Mac. It sounds
I probably
uncomfortable.
wouldn't play it on a Mac. Also, I have too many computers, I think. I have too many computers that can't do what I want them to do,
Yeah, that sounds like a really big problem.
what I just learned.
I mean, you can get a decent gaming PC for like $400. That does what you need to do if you're not playing like super high res games or like really trying to run something that requires you to have like big amount, like 120 FPS or anything like that. You can do okay. So you can
Yeah.
probably get one for cheaper, but it just depends how much you want to spend.
Cyber Monday is coming up, Rob. I'm just if you guys are thinking of Christmas presents,
Yeah,
it's out there. It's out there now.
yeah. We'll just
Um,
buy you a gaming PC.
I know. See, it's romance. Um, all right. Next on the list is
Uh-huh.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla is considered the biggest game launch in history.
Yes. Why?
Did you not read any of this?
I didn't see that one on the list.
Oh my gosh. So it is actually considered the largest one with 3.5 million units sold in the first week.
Oh, that's pretty crazy.
Um, yeah, so Ubisoft did promote it a lot. They definitely are trying to get a lot more people into the Assassin's Creed world, which is already a really pretty like has a lot of devout fans in that world.
Yeah.
So it looks pretty interesting. One of the things that I've noticed, and I wish I had saved them, is being part of different gaming groups on Facebook. I was noticing a lot of people saying that they were having issues with it freezing up on a PS4 and then they switched it over to the PS5 and all those issues seemed to go away.
I mean that tends to happen. I'm sure the developers when they developed it on a PlayStation 5 and then probably
Mhm.
just image dropped it over to a PlayStation 4 setup and didn't really do too much, and that happens a lot. Like, believe it or not, there's tons of games that they just don't take the time, especially when the next gen console comes out, to do the
Yeah.
proper steps for the lower consoles. And it's sad to see. I'm sure they're gonna put out a patch that's gonna fix it, and it's not gonna be an issue anymore. And you just gotta deal with that for not having the latest and greatest, even though the latest and greatest tends to like burn up right now or have to repair its hard drive. But things happen and you just get through it. It's just like anything else. As far as Assassin's Creed goes, you know, um, I've been that franchise has me so touch and go because like it definitely dude, I was a hardcore Assassin's Creed fan for a long time. Those first like 4 or 5 games, like the whole Ezio
Mhm.
series, oh my god, I fucking loved that game. um Black Flag, one of the best games I think ever created. Like realistically, so
Because
fun. Every part of it, super
underrated.
fucking fun. What?
I think it's one of the most underrated too.
It's considered by a lot of people to be the best Assassin's Creed ever made. Um,
Because I don't hear like when I talk to like I mean this
mhm,
is gonna just a conversation when I talk to people,
mhm,
that's almost one I never hear about, which I think is
yeah,
so weird.
I just
It
think
was
it's
so
old.
that
You
might
know,
be it.
I think it's just older. But it laid a lot of groundwork. I mean, with that game, we got so many things that carried over on into so many. With before that game, there was no um controlling like the ships, being able to drive the ships, and
Oh
now
yeah.
that's basically in every single one of the Assassin's Creed since. Um, there you couldn't get a lot of features, and now you see them all in all the games. After that, for me, it's really where it kind of took a downpour. Assassin's Creed, I think, is it 3 where they it's like part of the Americas, and he's like a native, and it's like during like the Civil War. That one I really really liked. Um, I mean, I didn't really like it. It was okay. Like it was definitely like an interesting story, and it kind of got me going. But I don't know. It wasn't all the way there for me. And then each one of them after that kind of started going downhill, and I stopped playing them for a long time. This one looks good, but I feel so far removed from what Assassin's Creed started as. They're still good games, but it's just so weird to see the franchise in such a like far place from where it started.
It's definitely very different. I do appreciate some of the like the things that they keep in the stories. I know
Mhm.
you hate what is it? Syndicate? Yeah. And I that's one
Yeah.
of the I love, but I like being
Mhm.
able to go back and forth between the characters. I like a lot of those little things. I think overall, it's a really well-written series, and even though, like, the stories definitely veer off from
Mhm.
the original ones, you can definitely see those, like, things that match up in the stories that keep it together and make it so it's still an Assassin's Creed game that you're playing.
Yeah, they just got to a point where, like, it was very, uh, kinda convoluted as far as, like, what the message they were trying to convey or the stories they were trying to tell. It got, like,
Mhm.
really just kinda meh. The story, like, for a little bit kind of, weren't as good as they were before. It doesn't necessarily have to be about the same thing, but I forget which one it is where it's kind of takes place after Assassin's Creed 3, where it's in the during like the colonies and stuff, and when you play the whole time as what you think is an assassin, to only to find out that he's actually like he was an assassin but was betraying all of them. I forget which one it was, but it like was very
Yeah.
off-putting and very confusing as far as the storytelling was, and it had been after a few that were kind of in the same boat. And I think for me, I just kind of was like, ugh, I don't need that. And I played the one before Odyssey where it's like the original assassin from Egypt, and he kind of
Mhm.
basically, and it just even that one, the gameplay was fun, but it just felt so like I thought we were gonna get this grand origin story of the Brotherhood, and we didn't get really any of that.
Yeah. I kind of want more I wanna know more about it. I know that there's, like I probably have to play all the games to get all
Hmm.
of it, but I kind of there's a lot more that I want to know about all of it.
Hmm.
Uh, so we'll see. Maybe maybe we'll get more with Valhalla.
Maybe I again the stories have kind of become like not about the creed itself, so
Mhm.
I think it's just a story about a Viking, and it's like okay.
Um, next up, which is another good one about more games,
Mhm.
Capcom's gaming lineup for the next 4 years appears to have leaked.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, right? Like, leaks always kind of get me because it's like one of those things where it's like, is it really a leak, or are they
Is
really
it
like
intentional?
faking putting out there? Or do they want to just like hype people up? Because at the end of the day, this still gets you talking about them. We're talking about them right now. Capcom is one of those companies that like you're not really too surprised at what they make. They're gonna make a Resident Evil, they're gonna make a Street Fighter, They're gonna make a couple other games that are probably remakes of old games, that we want to see. You
Monster
know,
Hunter 6,
yeah,
Street Fighter 6,
with an ultra
Dragon.
version coming out later that year. Or yeah, like it's all things that like I didn't need a leak to tell me that those games were gonna be made.
No, but it is out there. I am excited for another Resident Evil. I actually haven't played the last like 2 or 3.
I mean, there's more zombies. They scare you, and generally you're a police officer with a gun. You don't really need to know much more than that.
No. I what's funny is as much as I loved Resident Evil games though,
Yeah.
for the scare factor, I
Mhm.
thought there were so many other games that were way scarier. Because I remember people that be like, "I like playing Resident Evil because it scares me," and
Mhm.
it never was really that scary.
I am scared of anything where it has things that pop out at me. So they're just as scary for me as they always have been. I played them. I'm not a super huge fan just because I don't like being frightened for hours upon hours of trying to just do one thing. I see why people enjoy them.
Mhm.
So I'm not I don't know, I'm not it's not one of the franchises I'm like super into.
So you weren't a huge Silent Hill fan then?
No, it was a cool game. I saw like why everyone was into it, but I'm like, nah. I couldn't even play Five Nights at Freddy's like more than one time. I played it once and I was like, fuck this game. Okay, like I get the appeal of it, like getting scared and like it's being on edge. But like, you know what? If I wanted to be on edge, I would go eat an entire pizza and see how long it takes me to try not to go to the bathroom. Like, no, I'm good.
We live different lives.
Definitely.
A Resident Evil movie with Jim Carrey. I don't even know how to picture that one. That one just came up in the comments.
Yeah, that I mean, I'd watch it. I'd watch
I
it.
I really don't know where it would
But
go, but
like
I'm
even for me, like I have this weird love-hate relationship with like scary movies.
I
And
love
you know
movies.
what? I just watched Midsummer and Hereditary, and if you haven't seen those, they're phenomenal. As far as like they're still very scary, but they're not like it's suspenseful, or there's like it's suspenseful without like things popping out at you. It's not
Okay.
like but you're just like waiting, like it slowly draws you in with like you waiting for a lot of things to happen,
Yeah.
but you're not like always worried that like a fucking witch or something's gonna come at you. So
Okay. So is like witches and stuff like okay, so what is the scary genre that gets to you more than anything else?
there's nothing like that there's not a genre that gets to me more. It's just
Mhm.
things that pop out. I'm
Okay.
not like, oh, a hack and slasher. No, that's scarier than one about like occult, or like a movie about eating people. Like, no, I just like if something pops out, it scares the shit out of me. I have a guy at work that scares me every day, like 10 times a day, because he knows that all I have to be doing is anything, and he'll just walk behind me and just make a loud noise.
That's
Okay,
awesome.
so
Can you
it's not
high five
hard to
him for
scare
me?
me, huh? Yeah, I'll make sure I'll high five him for you. I It's not hard to scare me, and it's again like I can watch bloody, gory, or just
Yeah.
terrible things happening, and that doesn't scare me. It's just like when things are like coming at you. Like I fucking hate going to Not Scary Farm. I love it because it's cool and it's fun. You get to see like them be really creative with scary things. I hate it when I'm walking through a maze and I have to try to keep myself from punching something that pops out of my face. And I don't want to get a lawsuit happening because I accidentally punched somebody in their face.
I, see, I like getting startled. I think
Yeah,
it's fun.
it's not.
I don't like scary movies that seem realistic. So,
Oh, don't
like
watch Midsummer then. Midsummer could definitely fucking happen. It is insane, but maybe for you, not so scary. For most men, very scary.
okay, now I'm so intrigued. I'm gonna go
It's
look
an
this up.
interesting movie. I think you would dig it a lot, and it's it's a very interesting story. That's all I don't really want to like it came out last year. You guys should definitely see it. But if you haven't seen it, I don't want to like ruin too much of it. But it
Okay,
is like
after. But,
yeah.
like, Purge scares me because I'm like, people, if given the opportunity to kill people and, like, no repercussions, I think people would do that.
Maybe I think like a a small pocket of people would be like,
Not everybody, but I think enough people that would make it concerning. So,
I
like,
mean,
things like or, like, there was an I can never remember the name of it, but there's a movie where these 2 boys are, like, kind of terrorizing this community and, like, killing them, but the way that they do it is so sadistic, so it's like, that freaks me out. I can't watch anything with Manson or I'll get nightmares. Like, actually, that's, like, the one thing that'll give me nightmares is anything with Manson.
Manson? Like,
Manson? Serial killer?
oh, because he was an actual serial killer.
But I find most serial killers very fascinating, but I think him, because he manipulated other people to do it, it freaks me out so much more.
Yeah.
So, like, I can read about Jack the Ripper and I'm fine. I read about Manson, I'm having nightmares for, like, the next week, and that's just
Oh,
how it is.
okay.
I mean,
Well,
random. That's where we're at.
all right.
Anywho, next on the list, Disney shared a peek inside of their rooms for the upcoming Star Wars hotel
Yeah.
in Florida. I want to stay there so bad.
Yeah, I don't want to stay anywhere besides my house. California's getting locked down again. Like, no fucking thank
Okay.
you.
Well, it's not I'm saying, like, not right at this exact moment because it's not
That's fair.
open yet,
That's fair.
but it's also looking like it's gonna be a 2-day, 2-night type of stay where there's a
Mhm.
mission involved, if I was reading
Yeah.
it correctly.
I saw them talk about this. I forget when, but yeah, basically, you go in and you everybody is like, how do I put this? Like, you start off like in a mission, and like you get like they greet you like you're coming aboard a ship, and you're basically like, as long as you're inside of the hotel, treated
Mm.
like you're walking into this world. Like, they don't know what exists outside of it.
Which that's one of the reasons I love Disney so much is their theming
Mhm.
is so on point. The fact that it's a completely immersive experience.
You're the kind of person that loves going to those little prairie towns, huh? Where they have to like pretend like when you put out a cell phone, they're like, "What is
Um,
that thing? Huh? What is this magical item you have in your hand? I don't understand. What's a Harry Potter?" Like, you
like,
want to go to
you're
one of
not
those places, huh?
aren't you into, like would you not LARP or a no or yes or what?
That's not the same thing.
No, but okay, but going into something and kind of doing
I've
it
been to one of those things. When I was a
I think
kid, when I was like in 8th grade, I went to Boston, and I got to go to one of those places where they're like, I think we didn't have cell phones then, like
mhm.
kids did at least. And I remember asking for a telephone because I needed to make a phone call. And they're, "What's a telephone?" And I was like, "Fuck you, man! You're fucking 30. Like,
It's
come on."
really
I asked for a phone, and I get it. We're at this place right now, and understand what you're doing. I get it, but I need to make a phone. I don't have time to play this goddamn game, you fucking guy, okay? I was so upset.
are also just an angry person.
I am
Um,
not that angry. I was upset because a 30-year-old man
mhm.
decided to play a stupid ass game with me when I genuinely needed to make a phone call.
They're probably told to.
Okay, if somebody says, "Hey, I need to make a phone call," break character. Break character because you're a provider at the time. We didn't have cell phones to just make calls. So,
Uh-huh.
yeah, a
You probably
little
should have gone to teachers to help you with that one.
so they could go through the same thing.
There's different things. So it's like if a kid's asking you something, you're not gonna break character versus an adult. So
That's
in 8th
ages.
grade, it's their job.
I was in 8th grade. I wasn't a child. I wasn't like a 10-year-old being like, "Hey, I need the phone." No, I needed the phone.
You were 12.
I was no, not 12.
8th grade is 12.
I was
13 max.
no.
I teach 8th grade. You're 18 when you graduate.
Okay.
Take away 4 or 5 years.
All right, I guess that's fair. You know what? Whatever. Still, fuck that guy. Okay.
So, no, I'm just saying, like, I think that if you're going to build something and the things like, even one of the things is if you go into the Star Wars Galaxy Edge, they don't say good morning, they say bright suns, and it's things like that that just kind of brings you into this
I
world.
totally understand that.
Yeah.
I don't understand, "Hey, I need a telephone."
Okay.
What
I'm
is a telephone?
a bad experience almost 20 years ago, and that
All
it
of
stuck
all
with
of
me.
those places should burn to the ground now. Yeah.
I think that you are angry. I don't know, but I'm excited for these hotel rooms. Disney has a lot of things going on right now. With there's a Zootopia theme land over at Shanghai Disney.
Mhm.
Um, there's also going to be Avenger campuses that they're kind of still updating at Disneyland in California, as well as Disneyland
I've
Paris.
seen that. That thing looks cool as hell.
Yes, it does. I was just talking about the Guardians of the Galaxy ride,
I
and
haven't been on it.
oh my god! So did you go on Tower of Terror
Yeah.
ever? So, I loved Tower of Terror. I was so sad when we lost it, but if they could have replaced it with anything, I am so happy with how they did with Guardians of the Galaxy. It's so much fun. There's different songs that play, and based on your song the song that you get is gonna be based on how your, elevator shaft moves up and down. So you can have a much more mellow ride one time and a much different ride the next time.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that they did an awesome job of picking something to replace that with.
Yeah, I was there the day it opened. We tried to get on, didn't happen. And then every time I've tried to get on, it's just been like a really big hassle. So haven't had the opportunity, would love to go on it.
Of course. No, definitely. I, would love to see you go on that one as well.
Yeah, we can go together sometime whenever you want. Whenever it's open.
When it opens, we'll have to go fast pass it early in the morning.
Yeah.
I am even after working there, I am still the kind of person that will get there, like, park opening and stay till the end of the day.
Um
Just letting you
you can
if
get
you're
there at park opening and I'll stay with you once I get there till the end of the day. But no, honestly, even then, like honestly, like I get to Disneyland like at like 9, maybe 10, and then I definitely like what they close normally at like midnight. So
depending on the day.
on depending on the day, usually on the weekends, I'm usually like trying to get out of there by like 11. Like
Yeah,
I'm too tired. I like walking last time I went to Disneyland, man, we stayed there the whole time. And by the end, I was fucking done. I was like, oof, oh, I can't. I don't. Nope, no more.
last time we went was for my son's birthday, and we had a hotel, so we ended
Mhm.
up, like, had lunch, went and took a mini nap, and then came back to the park for the end of the day.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's honestly getting a hotel is kind of the way to do it. Because in like, I would love to get the. I would get there early. I would get their park opening, be there for like 3-4 hours,
Mhm.
go back to the hotel room, take like an hour or two nap, grab a bite to eat, and then go back, or go back to get a bite to eat. Because I do like eating in the park.
Yeah, we had made morning reservations before the park had opened at
Mhm.
the cantina.
Oh, you wanted to get drunk at 6 in the
Yeah.
morning. Okay.
Side note, my kids were there, so I had, like, 1 drink.
I think you can only have 2 drinks.
Yeah, and it's considering it's in Disneyland and it's one of 2 places you can get alcohol in the park, and the other place being Club 33, yeah, I was not passing up the chance to go get a drink that was tangerine flavored and made my mouth tingle.
You should just do what everybody else does and bring alcohol into the park.
See, I'm so like, I can't.
Why? I literally do it every time I go to Disneyland.
No.
What do you
I just
mean?
go over to BK and get my drinks over there because they have Red Trolley, which is one of my favorite beers.
Yeah, I just buy a large Coke and then I will pour my flask into the large Coke and then I don't even have to worry about it. I just get to walk around and go to what I want to do. I don't
Work
have to go back
there.
to another part of the park that's all the way in another land just to get overpriced alcohol. Like it's not even like
You
one
know
thing
how
if
many
it like
people when I
overpriced.
worked there, though, would have annual passes revoked for sneaking alcohol into the park?
You know how many times that's never happened to me?
Okay, I just know that I had to deal with people getting angry for because their passes that they still had to pay
Mhm.
got taken away. So
Well
for me, I don't wanna risk it.
well, don't, like, do it in a dumb way.
And so I'm just not
Go to
trying.
the bathroom and put the alcohol in the in your
No,
cup
it's
in the
not that.
bathroom.
They get stuck coming into the park.
Oh, I've never
Horror
that's
story
never
for me to want to.
yeah, it's never happened to me. I even, like 'cause I will this is what I do, is I wear my vest to Disneyland because it has, like, Disneyland things on it, and it's kinda nice to wear, and it
Mm.
has a pocket on the inside, and they never tou they're not allowed to touch you when they search you. So, yeah.
Okay. I
And then
probably won't do it.
you get a, like, a plastic flask, that way it doesn't, like, when they if they do use metal detectors, it doesn't
I
go up.
also don't drink very much.
Okay, I'm just telling you from the person that said, "I would like to drink more." Hey, this is how you do it.
I drank I wanted a drink in the cantina to say I got a drink in the cantina.
I was you literally said,
I
"These are
said
the
if I
places."
wanted a drink, I could go across and get one
Yeah,
from the
and I
queue, but
said,
I'm
"If I want a drink, I can drink more comfortably in a
okay.
more efficient way."
I just knowing the history and the alcohol in Disneyland, it was kind of special for me to get a drink
Mhm,
in one of the 2 places that it was offered, considering the only time I've been in Club 33 not working in it
mhm.
was when I was, like, 13 and not able to get a drink.
Okay. I'm
So
gonna
for
stop this because this is gonna get unhealthy real fast. So,
okay. Next up is gonna be James Bond, potentially going to be John Boyega.
I
I
don't
can't
see
say
it.
his name either.
I don't see it.
Um, who is
Mm.
who played Finn
Yeah.
in the most recent Star Wars. So
Nope.
you're not for it?
Nope.
I know you love Daniel Craig.
You know what? I wasn't a big Daniel Craig fan until Skyfall, so, like,
Okay.
barely, but it's not that I'm against him being it, I just I don't really like him as an actor. He's okay. I've seen him in other things besides Star Wars, and,
What
um,
else has he done besides Star Wars?
what's that movie? He was a janitor that gets, like, they're, like, trying to, like, make him look like he did this crime. I forget what it was called, but he's been in a couple other movies, and,
Oh, I do remember that one, but I
yeah.
never saw it, but I remember the trailer.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad movie, it just I don't know, I wouldn't like him for James Bond. I mean, I think Idris Elba is still a way better choice. Um,
He's just pretty to look at too.
well, there you go. But no, I just
James
think there's
Bond is pretty.
but also I think they want someone probably younger, you know?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think they wanna start out with an older James Bond, so I don't know. I'm just I don't see it for me personally. Am I gonna go watch it if he's in it? Yeah. Uh, and who knows, maybe it'll change my mind. But, yeah, I'm not super sold on it, so we'll see.
Still, I don't think it's a complete for sure thing. I know there's a picture that came out of him in the tux with the gun, and it does not look like a James Bond picture.
Mhm.
It looks like him playing in an action movie, but I
Yeah,
don't necessarily right off the bat get James Bond.
yeah.
We'll see if he can pull off the swagger that James Bond normally has.
Mhm.
So we'll see. Next up, we have Margot Robbie, who is teasing that she's going to be taking over the Pirates of the Caribbean.
That's interesting. I like Margot Robbie. She's, in anything I've seen her in, I've kind of
Mhm.
been about it. But we'll see. I mean, it's a good franchise for her to take over. I think she would head it really well. Um, and it would be interesting to see what they're gonna do with her as a character, like what they kind of role they would put her in. Is she
Yeah.
doing a Jack Sparrow thing? Is she a whole new character? Is she gonna be a girl turned pirate, or like royalty turned pirate or something, or like what is it gonna be? Um, so we'll see.
So yeah, they're saying that it's coming with a strong girl power movement. One of the things about it that looks interesting is that it's not going to be any of the stories that we've seen before, and it's going to look like a whole new story path.
Okay.
So since Johnny Depp's no longer going to be part of any of them moving forward, we're just getting a whole new story.
All right. Cool. Well, I'm excited to see what comes of it.
Yeah, no, I think she's good at playing the quirky characters. So we'll see. I mean, I haven't really watched any of the Pirates of the Caribbean in quite some time.
Mhm.
I know I got through I know for sure I got through 2 of them, and I'm pretty sure there was a 3.
Most people watch the first 3.
Okay. I'm going with I'm almost positive I saw the first 3, but I know for a fact I saw the first 2.
Okay.
We'll see. Next up, this was one I saw and I thought of you.
Oh, thank
There's
you for
an
thinking of me.
artist that, has made uh, a crossover between Pokemon and Digimon. And it's kind of interesting looking at their their starter monsters. Um, and I guess because those 2 have kind of been battling, I know Pokemon definitely has more popularity,
Mhm.
but I know people that are very hardcore into Digimon was the
You
pocket
know,
monster
I
choice.
would have to say this. I Pokemon is great.
Mhm.
Pokemon is, definitely, like, my first love of, like, collecting and, like, really getting into the story and, like,
Mhm.
the battles were cool, and it was, like, this giant adventure story that you can really see yourself in it, you know?
Yeah.
Digimon, I think it's more of a traditional, like, anime type story, and I've always been a fan of Digimon. Honestly, I would almost go as far to say is that I think I was more into it than I was Pokemon, but
Okay.
Pokemon was the one that, was just more popular, so you had to be in it. But, like, Digimon, I definitely, like, I played a lot more. Oh, no, I can't even say that because I played a lot of Pokemon games. I still play a lot of Pokemon games, but,
I
Digimon, I think I enjoy the story more consistently throughout it.
Okay.
Versus, like, Pokemon is really, about the adventure and, like, just, like, Ash's or whoever's story of him
Mhm.
growing, versus, like, Digimon is a story about a collective group normally moving forward, defeating bad guys consistently, not just about, like, there's no, like, collecting Digimon. That's not, like, a thing. So it is very different, and I think I just enjoy, like, the stories that come with Digimon a little bit more than Pokemon.
Okay. I know more about Pokemon. I think it was definitely more accessible. Um, it was a good introduction to anime for a lot of people. Digimon, I remember it, but it was like I said, I was a little bit on the older end when Pokemon came out, and so Digimon was, like, right in that same bracket, so I knew more about Pokemon than Digimon, but I remember more about Yu-Gi-Oh! For, like, any of the
Okay,
I know,
I haven't
completely
heard I haven't heard anything you just said.
Oh, great. Good. Always good.
But, I'm taking it that when you said you know more about, Pokemon. You keep saying
Mhm.
Pokemon, and it makes me wanna say it, and that's not how you're supposed to say it. But,
Okay.
no, I'm just saying, like, you keep saying it, and it makes me, like, say it wrong. But,
Which
it,
we know I've talked about. I do this to you on purpose sometimes, and then sometimes I find out I do it on accident, and then I'm like, "I'm gonna keep doing it." It's a bad habit.
uh, they, but you were saying something.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, I was like, but I think between all of, like, the animes that kinda came out around the same time, I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the one I knew the most about.
Uh, okay. Uh, I
Not in
mean,
the same genre, but, like,
I wouldn't
which
consider
like
I wouldn't
most.
consider Pokemon an anime, but either way,
It's
um,
classified as one, though.
it's so weird because it's so, like, not an anime, like, in every way of it, like, the form of it, like, all I would
I
consider Digimon an anime for sure,
I think it
but
is maybe just
Pokemon is
based on
so
origin.
really American. Huh?
Well, yeah, it is, but it still was not create it wasn't created here, though, which I think is why it gets classified as an anime. It just might have been made for a more American audience. And we're frozen.
Are you there?
Hi, Frank.
Hey, sorry. What you were saying?
I was just saying, I think just because of the audience, or not the audience, the creation of it. It was not Pokemon wasn't created here. Pokemon wasn't created here. So I'm thinking that's like
Yeah,
it's classified as anime. But it was definitely created more for an American audience and to kind
for
of
sure.
bridge those gaps. So
Yeah,
it is considered in the anime realm, even if not by you.
it's just so not an anime, but whatever. It
Which
also,
I
do
mean,
you consider it an anime?
I didn't really, but every time I'm looking it up, it gets grouped in anime things. So I'm guessing
Well, it's just the way that you said that was like you disagreed with it, but I think you also agree with that it basically isn't an anime.
it's not. I understand
It
why
is.
it gets classified as one, but I also understand why it doesn't get classified as one for most people. So I can see both sides of it. I think off the bat, if I was asked, I probably would say it was not an anime. But if you get into like the nitty gritty, then I'd be like, okay, yeah, it is in the anime realm.
Maybe it's very like not untaku like at all, so I don't understand it.
Yeah. Which I don't know, because like I know that there's more cartoons that have been coming out with like more of that monsters. I know like my kids really got into a show that was called Yokai Watch, and it was them dealing with like it was one guy could see these little spirits and stuff. And it had a very like anime feel without being anime, if that makes sense. And I feel like Pokemon's kind of in the same realm where there's anime aspects of it, but overall it isn't. I am having
Okay.
Wi-Fi right now. It's where we're
Yeah,
at.
I know. I need to run a cable into my room. I'm so done with Wi-Fi.
Me too. All right, next we have MCU Phase 4 introduces a hero that could have beaten Thanos alone. So how do you feel about this one?
I didn't hear anything you said.
MCU Phase 4 introduces a hero who could have beaten Thanos by himself.
That'll be interesting. I do we know who it is?
It is Gilgamesh,
Gilgamesh?
hmm
Is that
who
what you said?
is yes, um, who is in with the Eternals.
Okay, so I'm not a huge Eternals fan. So I was like, I
Okay,
don't know who the hell you're talking about. But so I'm not a huge Eternals fan, but I think we're at a point where we kind of have to see like OP characters come more into like the Marvel universe
yeah,
because Thanos was such a huge benchmark. We're gonna have to see what can outdo that, at least until they have some kind of cosmic event that like a one that's coming up, which is a Doctor Strange, the new movie, where it's gonna
hmm
basically help to reset a lot of things to where people can be weaker than they were before because we don't things got changed. You know,
yeah.
so it's gonna be interesting to see that and see like what else they have coming on.
Yes. So Gilgamesh is played by a Korean actor. We know him as Don Lee. He apparently also goes by Ma Dong-sik. And again, I mess up names from every culture, so we're going to be consistent. Um, but I'm intrigued to see how this character gets introduced. I'm excited to see a Korean actor go into this level. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't know
Yeah,
too much about.
I don't know anything about him.
There we go. So we're gonna learn some things coming up in phase
Cool.
4 of the MCU. Next up is there has been a clip that somebody caught of them filming Spider-Man 3. I'm super excited for the next Spider-Man.
I am very excited. I mean, they left us on such a cliffhanger. So to see what they have next in store is going to be really cool and really exciting. It's going to be dope.
I think yes, Spider-Man's definitely one of those ones that with oh my gosh, I just blanked on his name. Who plays
Tom
Spider-Man?
Holland.
Tom Holland. I was gonna go back as Spider-Man. I'm like, no,
Oh,
wrong. I think Tom Holland's just so much fun to watch in that role,
yeah.
that he's making new Spidey fans, than the ones that already existed. And I think even with like the Into the Spider-Verse, I think Spider-Man is really just at a peak right now, and I can't wait to see more stuff that they're doing with him.
Yeah, for sure.
Next Also, we have going into DC world, um, Wonder Woman 1984 is gonna be released on streaming the same day it's released in theaters.
That is awesome and crazy, and I'm so excited to see them do that. Like,
Yeah.
um, I think it's gonna open the doors for a lot more movies to do that, and for us to get a better viewing experience.
Mhm.
Considering that California's all back and shut down again, and we're not all of us can go to the theaters like that. So for us to be able to watch things at home, um, I think there's still a place for the theater out there. I think the theater needs to be this grand thing again, where like you go and it's a totally different experience than it is from your house, and that's why you go. But it is hard to compete with like I'm at home and I'm in the comfort of my home, and you can literally make theaters in your house for not very expensive anymore.
Mhm.
So it is going to be hard to compete with, but also times change, things change, COVID changed everything, and so we'll see what it has in store for everyone. I'm definitely going to watch it. So we'll see.
I'm I'm excited, for it. It looks really
Mhm.
good. I loved the first Wonder Woman, so
I don't really understand this second one, but
we'll
it'll be
see.
interesting.
We'll go with it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always fun seeing the '80s brought back in a
Yeah,
comfortable.
that'll be kind of cool. I think it'll be more of like this cool timepiece, but like as a story continuing from the first one, it's kind of
Oh,
confusing.
it is kind of a weird.
It's a weird leap, but I don't know. I think with Flashpoint coming along, hopefully it'll help reset a lot of things into a way where things make more sense. So we'll
Oh,
see.
yeah.
Mhm.
Another one that's coming up, another one I think you'll be excited for, Keanu Reeves' Constantine 2 is gonna be happening.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I am so excited to see him in Justice League Dark, and it's gonna be awesome. I've been waiting for this for so long. Constantine the movie holds up so well.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it blows my mind that they didn't do another one.
Well, and
Like,
it's because the first one was in 2005, so we're waiting 15 years.
yeah, like, and the thing is, like, it did well in theaters. It did. People were talking about that movie for so long after it came out. I am thoroughly shocked that we did not get another one, like, at least a couple years later. Mind you, it might have been a little bit on Keanu for being, I'm sure he was busy, and it wasn't easy to like get him to do a sequel. But I don't know. I think like people would have genuinely liked to see a sequel to that, and it set itself up really well for a sequel too.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, I think where it's gonna be coming out, we're waiting as soon as we get more information on that one, but it's, Peter Stormare, who
Mhm.
played Lucifer in the film, is the one who kind of leaked the information, so
Yeah, who's also in John Constant or John Wick too.
there you go.
Mhm.
So, which did you see Knock Knock yet?
No,
Okay, that's the Keanu Reeves movie that just that's on Netflix.
yeah, no.
I watched it the other day.
Oh, you're doing a great job of telling me what you want to tell me.
No,
You look
I'm
like you're
still
really
confused.
not sure about it. Okay.
I'm not sure about it, that's the issue, is it was interesting, there's parts of it I liked, but overall, I'm okay without ever watching it again.
Okay. Well, now I'm really interested in watching it.
It's not bad, but it's one of those movies that those movies that you can watch again and again and again and again? Not one
Yeah.
of them.
Okay.
Not or for me at least, it wasn't
Yeah.
one of those
No,
movies.
for sure.
Was weird because even how he was playing the part, I wasn't fully on board, and, it might be horrible to say, I think if it was maybe just the way he was playing the character, it just made it hard for me to buy in.
Okay. I can understand that.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was interesting premise. Again, in that reality of people being evil, and stuff, it kind of falls in those lines. So that might be kind of another reason why I'm standoffish from it a little bit.
I get it. You're afraid of people killing each other.
Yeah, that's my thing. I feel like it's a very legitimate fear. I'm not scared of ghosts. I'm scared of somebody walking in my front door and being bad.
Why is that? What?
I don't know. I couldn't think of another way to say it at that exact moment.
Okay.
Okay. Suicide Squad cast Sylvester Stallone in a mystery role.
That'll
What?
be interesting for sure. I think Suicide Squad has a lot of catching up to do. I'm kind of shocked they doubled down on that one, but you can tell they were trying to make up for it by how many interesting people they like, the huge roster of celebrities they have in it.
Mhm.
So I am excited to see what, no matter how good or bad that movie's gonna be. I'm really excited to see what it's gonna be.
And I feel like we've been talking about Sylvester Stallone a little bit lately.
Okay.
Even the fact that we brought up Creed
Yeah.
recently and changing the director's mantle, crossing there. So he's definitely doing a good job of staying on the radar.
I mean, he's Sylvester Stallone. It's not hard,
Not
not for
beyond.
him at least.
But yeah, no, I'm curious to see. There's a huge cast coming up. And yeah, I mean, we'll watch it. We'll see how it goes. I
Yeah.
think that's one we should see together.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay.
Oh, I'm
Last
sorry. Yeah, we'll
thing,
totally fucking watch it together. Yeah. I
no,
don't know.
too late. We're past it now.
Okay.
Last thing, and this one is just a rumor, but it's definitely something that I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
Potential that DC Comics will be closing down in June.
Yeah. A lot of
So
the writers have gotten laid off. A lot of um setbacks have happened. You know, um I a lot of books have gotten canceled.
yeah. So they have their March lineup, but if this is true, that might be the last lineup of comics coming out. Of course, those characters are still going to live on in movies and TV shows and other adaptations, but just not in comic book form.
Yeah.
Um, I don't, that seems insane to me. I know a lot of book companies have been losing revenue with ebooks coming out and things like that. Web series are so much more consumable, but DC looks like they have a lot of drama going on in the writing rooms.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that contribute to it. I think definitely like a company that's based off weekly sales of books.
Yeah,
Um, and most people buy their books at the comic book store. They
yeah.
go to a comic book store, and when you can't do that, it makes it hard. And consuming books online is so much easier. I don't
Mhm.
think that's the thing. Another thing too is they're thinking like the comic books just might not be published; that they're just going to be producing them online from now on. So
So that's definitely an option. I know some of the writers. So Van Sciver, I don't know how to say this name. I'm keeping it consistent. Is the one that all this information kind of came from. He was known for working on the Green Lantern with Jeff Johns, who
mhm.
recently announced that he's going to be publishing a comic book with Image Comics. So he's going to be going over there. The Van Sciver has a lot of things that he's been saying. One of the things he's saying is that the female underlings that have been taking over because so many people have been leaving DC,
Mhm.
and saying that these people that have just not had enough experience in the industry are taking over. It's just not. It's not. They're not leading it in the right direction.
Yeah.
It's not being successful. But DC just had that huge launch last or with a couple months ago.
DC
Fandom.
movies, not DC comic
Yeah.
books.
But
You have to
there was
understand they're different entities. They're not. They are under the same company, but DC Publishing is what's in trouble, not DC the
no,
brand
yeah.
as a whole.
But DC comic books had a bunch of things that were released in the fandom as well. If you went around for the day too,
Mhm.
most of it was comic books and different things along those lines. So this is just kind of crazy. I know the movies are going to keep going. It's been an issue since AT&T bought Warner Brothers, which in
Yes.
turn is why they got DC. And it just looks like they haven't been they got it kind of in a failing state, and they haven't been able to revive it the way they thought they could.
Yeah, there was a book recently that came out, I believe, almost a week ago. And spoilers if you haven't read it. I forget which title it was, or it is. I think it's the next Bat Metal title that has come out. But basically, and everything that's going on with Bat Metal, the Batman Who Laughs basically has become like an unstoppable god, and is in the he's like right at the end of where he's gonna like basically get rid of the multiverse. And
Yeah.
he a character comes along that essentially is like a timekeeper. Like he comes by and he sees multiverses that are going to end, and he records what happens. He's a recorder, like a historian.
Okay.
And so as he's doing this, a bunch of things happen, but one of the things he says is he realizes that he wants to kind of break his function as a person who records and try to help the world to continue to exist. But he says if this world did end, all these heroes would live on in their stories. And a lot of people that read that are taking that as like a nod to what's going on in DC Comics, because of the fact that like it might end, it might no longer be a thing, which would make me really, really sad, honestly.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna suck not having, I mean, DC, I'm a much bigger DC fan than I am a Marvel fan, at least when it comes to the actual comic books. And you know, not having a Batman comic would really suck. Like, you know, I get it, you know, we can have DC stories in other formats, and we have been doing that for years, and they do really well. But to see a comic book company end that's just done so much, you know, it's going to be really sad. Honestly, that'll be, I don't have a Batman tattoo yet, but I guarantee you that'll be the day I get at least a few DC tattoos, probably in the same day.
Yeah. I think it's crazy because DC, for most people, I think on the street, if you ask them to name a comic book company, DC and Marvel are the only two they could name, which is fine. So it's just crazy to me that DC would be in such a state of potential disrepair.
Yeah.
That's insane. But apparently, one of the things, I just saw the number a second ago and then I lost it, how much debt they're in from, and I lost it. I had the number and then it's gone. It was a big number.
Okay.
But I guess, yeah, AT&T just might be pulling the plug. And yeah, I know they're going to live on. But like I said, in the fandom, that was just like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
They announced a bunch more comic books that were coming out. And so, like I said, the market is already out there, but that might.
What company's going to tell everyone that they're, you know what I mean? They're going to keep on with the plans that they had up until they can't do it anymore.
Yeah, I think just because they had so many big plans, it's just crazy to see that it might be over in less than a year.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Because like I said, DC has my favorite villains, and I would love to see more of them getting created with the kind of stories and twisted backgrounds that they have.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that in the DC movie world and all of those, that they keep that going in the same kind of dark.
I would at least hope that AT&T would maybe figure out a way where they can like maybe, you know, do like a Toys R Us, claim bankruptcy, kind of clean up a little things, and then maybe sell the company off to somebody who can actually get it back into a better place.
Yeah. What is it? Because like the link I sent you, did you see some of the things that were going on? They were outing a lot of the writers that had bad publicity that kind of got swept under the rug, down to sexual allegations as well.
Wow. No, I didn't see that.
So it's kind of crazy, like naming out Robbie Rodriguez and Eric Esquivel, who I guess were not known for being very kind to their female counterparts. So we'll see how those go, if they keep working, just not with DC. I mean, this is just, I'm hoping it's not true at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But that is kind of let me see. We just got a question. What about Image Comics?
I mean, Image Comics is, even though they made Spawn, they're still not like they're not, as people who like comics know who they are.
Yeah.
Not so much like a regular name on the street. I mean, Spawn, even though he's definitely considered one of the biggest comics out there, still not a household name, even though Spawn has had a movie and a great HBO show, but it got canceled. So I think that tells you a lot.
It's so good too.
The HBO series is fucking phenomenal.
I'm gonna have to watch that one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like I said, I played Overpower, which was that card game I was telling you about, and they had DC, Marvel, and Image. I don't think there was any other companies that were in that game. But yeah, majority of people, if they don't spend time in a comic book store, might know who Spawn is, but they might think he belongs to DC.
Yeah, I get that.
All right. That's kind of all of our stories for tonight.
Yeah.
Which I know was a lot. I say that's all, but
I know it was a lot. Thank you, anybody that joined us. Honestly, we really appreciate you guys coming and hanging out with us. We are still trying to work out doing some more destination shows. It's just right now, obviously with COVID, it makes it a little bit harder. But we are, as you can see, doing things to restructure the show. We do have some pretty cool plans for the future, and we hope that you hang out with us, you share us with your friends, and you keep growing with us. So if you haven't already, please check us out on Instagram. I know that's like our platform that kind of needs the most help. If you're listening to us right now, you're probably already on our Facebook, our Instagram, or sorry, our Facebook, our Twitch, or our YouTube. So thank you guys for showing us love on there. But yeah, if you get a chance, please check out our Instagram at The Reckless Nerd. And yeah, I mean, that's all I got for me. What about you, Steph?
I think that's everything. I mean, I love the messages that we get when they're not dick pics. But like your guys' kind of feeling and going with the show, your guys' comments. Sometimes some of you guys see stories and you're like, hey, you guys should talk about this. Like I know the Pink Panther story was sent to me by Nick Polias. So thank you. We see it. Sometimes we see those stories and they're too old or we can't talk about it at this time. But keeping us in the loop with all those nerd things that one of us might have missed, completely on board. But awesome. So thanks guys for listening. We won't be here next week because Thanksgiving and I'm going to be ruining my diet yet again.
And I'm going to be knee deep in a turkey.
Please send a picture.
That's going to be a weird picture.
It's going to be a weird picture, but when you knee deep in a turkey, I have so many.
Take a picture of me doing that
Your
to
mom.
a turkey. Don't.
Oh God,
that's even weirder. Why would you say that? Why would you say that?
I went so much more innocent than you went. Oh my gosh.
That's okay.
Follow, guys.
Stephanie. Anyways, all right, let's end this episode. Bye.